I think the field for the Sunday race is as level as could be. Hard to determine which one of those drivers is going to come away with a championship or two. And looking forward to some practice to be able to do my best to handicap the field. Seems like with the next gen car, that's been more difficult to do, no matter how much practice you see. And obviously with the Xfinity cars, got a couple cars of my own out there competing. So some completely different set of nerves and anxieties over that. But it's an incredible weekend in front of us, and feel like that we're gonna see something spectacular regardless across the board for both series. And that moment when the drivers get out of the car right there at the front, the front straightaway at the start-finish line, when they, are realizing the reality of the situation that they are champion, is quite a moment to see in person. In the last couple of years we've been here, that's always hit home for me to watch somebody go through that. And we watch these drivers try their hardest not to show any emotion to us in this room all year long, right? They work against us to try to, we're trying to pry it out of them, and they're trying not to let too much out. And man, that moment right there is the floodgates open up. So I'm looking forward to that part of the weekend and closing out strong.
Dale, back in the day, your dad could really talk some crap, right? Leading into a championship, he could get in these guys' heads. We sat there and talked to Blaney. He said there's no animosity between any of us. I mean, this is like the kinder, gentler generation, right? And so what's missing? What are we missing here? Because we would go into media days back in Miami, and Tony Stewart would be throwing barbs at Carl Edwards and back and forth. We're not getting any of this. And I'm just wondering, do we have to wait till Sunday to really see their, fire come out?
Well, maybe, maybe we'll get lucky and, see that. But I just think it's coincidence more than anything. The people that are, the drivers that make up the four just happen to have, very even, calm personalities. They're just not very, dynamic or aggressive. But it's more, I think, more coincidence than anything. And maybe that's a bit unfortunate, because it may run then on some storylines for us on, sound bites and so forth today. But I honestly believe, and Jeff, I think, and anyone else up here would say this, that when it comes down to it, they'll do whatever it takes, right? And ask for forgiveness later to be able to be a champion. I just can't imagine them, being within arm's reach of each other into that last corner and not getting somewhat physical. It just like Jeff said, it's life changing. And for a guy like Blaney, for example, has raced in the series for 8 years and finally has this opportunity for the first time to go for a championship. You just do not know when you'll get that chance again, if ever. And you can't expect it to, to have that opportunity again. When it's in front of you, you got to take it, and I think they will. I think they'll produce that in the moment.
Kevin Harvick's last race, obviously, is Sunday. He's stepping out of the driver's seat and coming into the TV booth next year, kind of like you did. What are some of the challenges he's going to face, do you think? And as he makes that transition, and what do you think some of the advantages are? And I'll have a follow-up with Rick.
He won't face any challenges. He's sharp, tough mentally. Already has experience. His one thing that's unique for him is when they do the all drivers events, he's the play-by-play guy. He's really gotten some pretty incredible experience already before he's going to get into the booth. So he's been in probably some of the more high-pressure situations in past with flying colors. He seems completely relaxed in that scenario, and so I don't think he'll have any challenges whatsoever. And I think the fact that he has something, everybody was telling me, man, you don't retire from racing, you retire to something else. And he's doing that. And I talked to McMurray this week on my podcast. He said the same thing. He said, I believe being able to go into broadcasting or work on the TV side helped me come to terms of, with ending my driving career the way it did. And, if you end that career with nothing in front of you, it's very difficult to chart a path, right? But he's very motivated. He hates to lose, and he'll be that way even in broadcasting, right? He'll want to win in every moment.
This question's for Dale. How have you impacted Sam Mayer and seen the growth with him in the past 13 races, winning 4 of them? He said once you get that one win, then you get the next one, it's a domino effect. How have you seen that as a team owner for Sam? Yeah,
we know Sam can run fast laps. Know he's won races in the ARCA series and ran well in other levels of competition. He would go and compete head-to-head and on a rare occasion beat Josh in the late model stock car, which Josh is widely considered one of the best in that type of vehicle. So, I knew he was fast, but he's young and mistake-prone. And so this year I would pick with him a lot about hitting the wall on lap 1. He did that quite a bit. First probably 60% of the year, there were a couple races where right at the very start, he's hitting the wall, and he would hit the wall and then, get himself behind and end up coming back and finishing 5th, and he'd get out of the car and go, I ran 5th. Pretty good, huh? And he was proud of his ability to come back from his mistake, but it was like happening on every other week. And so to get him to understand like how that mistake was not, the comeback is admirable, but the mistake was keeping him from winning races. I would tell him, like, man, if you don't hit that wall, you win the race instead of running 5th. And so he's still young. He's still mistake prone. He's still gonna have a lot to learn. He's got a long road ahead of him and a long path, as any driver would be in that position that he's in. If he wants to succeed at the Cup level, he's got a lot more to learn, and we're thrilled to have the opportunity to be part of his story and to help him know how to get better. I got to give Marty, his crew chief, a ton of credit as well, because I've learned over the years that it takes a certain type of crew chief for every individual. There's no prototype crew chief that fits all race car drivers. And what the type of person that Sam needed was Marty. And Marty has obviously worked together before. Marty knew what he was getting himself into, but he holds him accountable. You got to, when you got a young driver, sometimes you got to hold them accountable out of the car. What are they doing, preparing, working toward? And Sam came in there today and told us about all the hours of film he's watched. He's watched every race that they ran here in the last 5 years or whatever. I mean, he was not doing those things 6 months ago or a year ago.